Last month, my AI operating agency did just over 30k Great British pounds or 40k if you're from the US. And it's all because I stopped being a pussy. Now, you might be thinking, what the hell does that have to do with anything and me making 30k? Um, I will get onto that. It's more, I saw something on my free Discord where someone personally had me in the general chat about taking action from the last video. It kind of inspired them to take action and to stop overthinking and stop being lazy. Which shout out to you, by the way, if you're watching this. Uh, you're doing more than nearly 99% of people, but it's this one thing that he said, which was, I'll put the screenshot up if I remember to do this. He said that it wasn't as scary as I thought, and that kind of just brought me back to a period when I first started out where I kind of had to do something which was kind of scary and kind of backwards in a sense. And I just wanted to share that story with you guys today because I know if even one or two of you can make this switch, you will see insane progress. And I'm pretty sure, or I kind of boiled down this moment to the reason why I excelled, or one of the reasons why I excelled really quickly and saw the success that I did. So, this story, a lot of you might relate, a lot of you might not, but if you take action and you could relate to this story in different aspects in life. It's one that I've shared with my students and also in some free coaching calls if any of you were lucky enough to attend those. But this is all, or this story really is about how I had to fire my first ever client and lose all income, lose all momentum, and essentially start from zero. So, to paint the picture, this was my first client, which I spoke about, I think, in the last video. And I think in my first video as well, they're hitting 10k a month. So this client was my first ever client. I think, I initially outreached to her to do a sales page, she liked the work, and then we agreed on like a monthly, not retainer, but a 30-day trial. It was a paid trial, so I wasn't complaining, with the agreement of she would continue to pay me if I got her return on investment with a new offer that she was launching. Long story short, because I don't want to bore everyone, I got this return on investment. So I think it was a workshop, which was for 350 USD. It was a mid ticket, it wasn't a high ticket. And I think there was an upsell of a 450 option, which had extra bonuses. And the agreement was if I could make the return on investment of her 1800 USD with this little launch, she would continue to work with me, so on and so forth. This was a verbal agreement, and this is like a quick uh, advice for any of you guys out there working with clients: get shit written in a contract, signed, because if verbal agreements, people can just go off of their go against their word or just be like, I can't recall it, but blah blah whatever. Long story short, I made her. I think we got 35 sales on the lowest option, which is about 350. So about, if my math is correct, about 12k. Now, I didn't have access to all of the back end to see what the exact numbers were, but I did know we did sell out of those 35. I think, from what I know from my knowledge, at least 8 of them were upsells, so 450. So the numbers could be higher. But, anyways, I helped her make a substantial amount of money. And then when it came to renewing and signing on again, because again, we had a verbal agreement of if I make you return on investment, we'll continue our retainer option, blah, blah, blah. She tried to lowball me, which was kind of a curveball. I'll try to put the screenshot here of our chats if I can find it and remember to actually put it. But she tried to lowball me. She knew I was one of the first, or she knew I was quite new to the space. So I'd say in a sense she tried to take advantage of me, but yeah, she tried to lowball me, and I was kind of in a vulnerable predicament, right? So this was my only client at the time. I had just been made redundant. So for those of you who don't know, redundant basically means like your job lets go of you, not because of performance or whatever. It's just because that role isn't needed. I'll probably get onto that in like another video or whatever. But I was made redundant, but I just started this copywriting uh, agency, and I thought, all right, perfect. Like one door closes, another door opens. Let's just go for it. So at this time, this was my only source of income. which was now about to be slashed in half or a third because we went from 1800 USD and she tried to lowball me for the lowest of 600. Now, I think the context was she was planning to, I think she was doing a 2 week break. So she said she wanted to pay me for 2 weeks and then they'll discuss, or she would discuss with me if she wants to work with me again. And yeah, I wasn't having it. It was my only source of income, so I had nothing. So anyone in my position would have taken that 600. If you think about it, right? There's no income, you got no job, you've only had one client, you haven't got another one, and I had to basically tell her, well, in the nicest way, to fuck off. Like, you're fired. I don't want to work with you. And it was quite a hard thing to do because I remember doing this and telling her, like, look, if you don't pay me what I'm worth, or what the value I bring, even though we had a verbal agreement, I don't think I can continue working with her. Now, I did have an option where I said, look, if you want to work for the next 2 weeks, we can do it. I can half the price, like instead of 1800, sorry, I can do 900 just for the 2 weeks, and then your 2 weeks break, you have whatever, and then we come back and we go. And she wasn't having it. She said, nope. She was saying, like, I need this, but I'll do it for 600. And I just left her on scene. I told her, look, these are the prices, blah blah blah. If you're not happy with it, I'm not going to continue talking, and then you can go find someone else or go back to doing your own marketing for you. And this was a really tough decision because, again, no income, I didn't have a second client at the time. I think I went back to outreaching, but I wasn't seeing the same quick success that I saw the first time round. So it was more of in my mind, it was more, I knew I'm going to get a client, but I didn't know how long it was going to take. And I didn't know how long I was going to go for without any money being made or whatever. Because at this point, all the money that I did make at the time from her, I reinvested into other programs and courses. And with some of those mentorships, I was on like a monthly plan where it was like I pay X amount for 3 months instead of the full amount in one go. And her cutting my only income source kind of complicated things because I can't pay for this mentorship. I've got no money for myself at the end of the month. I've got bills to pay and stuff like this. What do I do? And it was more, I remember staying up at night and I was just like, look, if I take the 600, yes, I'll have income, but I'm going to be doing more work for less than I made last time. Yes, I can keep food and stuff on the table, but I'm not going to have the money to pay for more mentorships to acquire that knowledge to keep going. And I just made a decision. I was like, you know what? I'm better off taking the risk and just trying to find a second client and work with them than take this low offer. So again, I told her, like, either you pay or that's it. I'm not going to discuss further. And I really put my foot down. And yeah, I went, I think 3 weeks, nothing, absolutely nothing. And at this point, outreach was totally abysmal. Like, the client that I had, we were going back and forth, we were getting on calls, but we weren't making any progress yet. And I was getting a lot of discovery calls done. I had a few sales calls, but nothing was going into fruition just yet. And yeah, it was kind of a tough moment because I think I've seen this happen to other people as well, where they totally give up. And I just stuck to it, stuck through. This was around this time last year, around May last year. And yeah, money was running dry, and I finally got a sales call with my second client. But however, this second client was a rev share only deal. So I managed to close the deal. I saw potential in this client who I could see was making who could make a lot of money with the right marketing, but they were not willing to do an upfront cost or agreement, because at this time my only testimonial would have been my previous client, and at this point I was just like, I'm not speaking to her unless she comes back and agrees on the second payment. So I had no testimony. I had proof of work, but I couldn't get her word for it. So my second client was just like, either she gives you like a video testimonial, or like, I'm not going to pay you any upfront costs and we're just going to work on a rev share only deal, which supposedly is, well, not supposedly, which is ideally what ended up happening in the end. But a few days after that call, bear in mind, I'm like working flat out because I need to get this guy's offer going, launch him, make some money so I can actually have some income for myself at the end of the month. I got a message on Instagram from my first client, and I'll try put the screenshot up here, where she literally just says, I'm back from holiday, send the payment link. And I was just so confused. And I was just like, okay, hello to you too. Like, the last message you sent was you trying to lowball me for 600, and I just completely ignored you. And then out of nowhere, double text saying, "Yep, send the payment link." And I had to reiterate with her. I was just like, um, okay, payment link for what? Are you still trying to get me for the 600, or do you want the full thing? And she's like, nope, I want the full thing, please. And then at this point, I told her, look, I'm working with another client, and time is now not on my side, and I can't really dedicate as much time as I can to you. We're gonna have to hop on call. So we hopped on a call, talked it out, identified our goals and stuff. And then at this call, at this point, I remember telling my call, I was like, look, I'm working with a new client, blah, blah, blah. We're doing this. Bear in mind, I just signed this client. I'm like 3 days in. I haven't really launched anything, but I'm like talking myself big up, saying, we're going to do X amount. I'm on this much percent rev shared, blah, 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 blah. We've made this much so far. I'm going to need 2,500 from you just so I can dedicate time and actually have my time, or have my time paid for in some valuable money, and which is worth actually working for you. And to my surprise, she was just saying, yep, perfect, send me the payment link. And at this point, I was just shocked on call, because this is the same client who tried to lowball me on my price beforehand, which was cheaper, who tried to get me to do more work. And now we're at 2,500. She's agreed. And if anything, I'm kind of doing less work for her, even though it's still a substantial amount. It's less than I first initially offered. Signed it, whatever, got the payment through, and I just remembered looking at the notification thinking, fucking finally, I've got some money at the end of this month. Or not, I think the Stripe fee was, or not Stripe fee, sorry, the Stripe delay was about a week, so I got money coming in. I remember messaging my mentor like, hey, I can pay you for this month, blah, blah, blah. Payment comes in at this time, I'll send it to you. And I was just like, it's just a huge relief. And I remember, I think I went for a walk at this time, just to kind of relax, because that stress of no money, no income, blah, 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 finally gone. And I remember just sitting there and I was just like, if I took this 600 deal, I wouldn't have made 2,500 now. And it's all because like I just grew a pair and told her, look, I'm not gonna be paid less than what you think I am. Like, I know my worth, I know the value I bring. I'm gonna put my foot down, and I'm not gonna let you dictate me or judge me based on what you think you can do and take advantage of me because I was so new in the space. And then, yeah, the 2,500 came through. We carried doing on the work. Relaunched a new mid-ticket offer that she had, and then at the same time, it was now juggling two clients and working with them. At this point, I'd streamlined the whole process. I understood how everything worked, and then it was a very valuable lesson I learned during this phase. Two things really was to get everything written in get everything written in a contract so no one can do any iffy stuff, and to be not put all the eggs in one basket. Once I had these two clients working and I had them paying me and I knew all the service delivery I was going to do for them, it was bang, get straight into the third one, because if these two go, that's my income done. And I just didn't want to go through that stress and headache and like that fear all over again. And it literally all came from, because I told this client, you can do one, I'm not going to reduce my price, or I'm not going to succumb to your demands because you feel I'm not bringing enough value, even though I did bring you the huge return on investment and made you quite a lot of money. Bear in mind, this, just for context, this client, this first one I had, she makes about 400 to 500k per month. And I just couldn't understand why she was trying to lowball me. But I guess she was just, I mean, business is business, right? It's a brutal space. People are sharking. People will take advantage of you if you do not, hold your ground and don't be a little pussy, So, yeah. And just going back to this, seeing that guy on Discord, what was his name? Pachoy? Shout out to you if you're still watching. Just seeing him say, like, it's not that scary and, I need to just stop being scared and just take action, just kind of reminded me of that whole thing where I was literally this time last year, because it's the kind of the same shift in my mind that I had, where I was like, I just need to stop being scared. Whatever happens. I need to keep moving forward. And I realize with a lot of people who come in, whether it's my free Discord or if I see other people just in general life, they just hold themselves back because they're scared. And it's because, it's, I don't know how to explain it. If they're like, for example, like for this guy Pachoy who's scared of doing outreach. It's because of they're not scared of the rejection, or it's not because like getting on call or doing whatever. It's because they're scared of not being good enough. And yeah, most people need to realize in the beginning you're gonna be bad or you're gonna be taken advantage of. You just can't be a pussy. You just need to push through it. Once you do it once, the second time becomes easier, and the third time becomes easier, and it just compounds and compounds and compounds. Look, like if a client, like I've had to fire multiple clients, while in my little journey. I mean, I've got a solid 6 that I currently work with who at the moment don't look like they're going anywhere, but I've had multiple clients where, if they're not like, if they're just annoying me in terms of you need to reiterate this, you need to reiterate that, or if they're slow with service delivery, like if I draft them a VSL and I say, look, this VSL needs to be up, blah, 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 they take too much, I will not hesitate to, fire them or get rid of them, because I have been in that position before where I've had to fire a client, even though my income is at the line. I've been in that position where I need to get rid of you. Even though if it destroys me in the short term, or doesn't benefit me in the short term, in the long run it will. And because I managed to fire my first client when it came to I think it was my 4th or 5th that I signed, I fired a few just because, either they're wasting time, they're not trusting my word, they're not seeing the value that I bring. I've fired clients, and it's like, I know maybe a lot of you can relate. If some of you are, like, it's kind of a weird, odd thing to do, but it's the same feeling where, if you get rejected once, it doesn't deter you, just go again. Once you do your first sales call, the second one becomes easy, third one becomes easier, fourth one becomes easier, and it's just breaking that belief in your head where it's actually not as scary as you think. And it kind of goes back to my last video of overcomplicating things. It's much easier and much less scary than you think. So what I wanted this video to be is just to let you guys know, just don't be scared. Don't be a little pussy. Don't be a little bitch. Because that is ultimately what is holding you back. And it's what I've seen with some of my students, just being scared to do certain things. I've seen it in my free community as well. Certain people holding themselves back because they're scared, or they don't feel ready, or they don't feel knowledgeable. Just do it. It's probably the best advice I can give. I don't know what else I need to really say, really. I'll put just looking at my Discord now, I'll put a screenshot here from my student David. This is probably going to help with the video. He's just put, like, putting things into actual practice is better than anything else he's done. Wow, okay, that's perfect timing for this video. But yeah, all because action will teach you for stuff, like preparation will never, right? You can prepare for something as best as you can, but you'll never be fully ready. And what's that famous Mike Tyson quote? Everyone's got a plan until they're punched in the face. So yeah, I don't really have much else to say. If you've watched till the end, you're an actual legend. If you did watch till the end, message me, I don't know, iPhone, and I'll give you a free coaching call. First come, first serve. I'm not going to do this for everyone, but yeah. If you're watching this and you're actually ready to take action or need help or guidance in making money online, or with copywriting or your own AI operating agency, stuff like that, just visit the first link below. I do have a group or a community where I teach everything A to Z, show you exactly what needs to be done, as well as having 2 one-to-one calls and all the resources. More info on that in the link below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.